going back to Proverbs 31. And we will we stopped at 8, but we'll pick up 8 and go from there. Speak up for those who can't speak for themselves, for the rights of all who need an advocate. Speak up, judge righteously, defend the cause of the poor and the needy. Who can find a capable wife? Her value is far beyond that of pearls. Her husband trusts her from his heart. Her husband trusts her from his heart. And she will prove a great asset to him. And she will prove a great asset to him, her husband. She works to bring him good, not harm. She works to bring him good, not harm, all the days of her life. All the days of her life. She procures a supply of wool and flax and works and works and works with willing hands, with willing hands. She is like those merchant vessels bringing her food from far away. It's still dark when she rises to give food to her household and orders to the young women serving her. She considers a field, then buys it, and from her earnings, she plants a vineyard. She gathers her strength around her and throws herself into her work. Her work. She sees that her business affairs go well. She sees that her business affairs go well. She sees that her business affairs go well. Her lamp stays lit at night. She puts her hands to the staff with the flax. Her fingers hold the spinning rod. She reaches out to embrace the poor and opens her arms to the needy. What a gal. When it snows, she has no fear for her household, since all of them are doubly clothed. Are you listening, Azetta? She makes her own quilt. She is clothed in fine linen and purple. Her husband is known at the city gates when he sits with the leaders of the land. I want to say something about that. Do not be fooled just because a person keeps company with leaders. Leaders lead by example. They're in action. They're doing something. We'll talk about that a little more later. She makes linen garments and sells them. She supplies the merchants with sashes, clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh at the days to come. Clothed with strength and dignity, I think of Mother Bonner. When she opens her mouth, she speaks wisely. Ooh. When she opens her mouth, she speaks wisely. When she opens her mouth, she speaks wisely. On her tongue is loving instruction. Let me read that again. Make sure on her tongue is loving instruction. She watches how things go in her house, not eating the bread of idleness. Her children arise. They make her happy. Her husband too. As he praises her. Many women have done wonderful things, but you surpass them all. I was wondering when you was going to look up. Terrell. Charm can lie. Ooh, listen at this. Charm can lie. Them feminine wiles. Charm can lie. Beauty can vanish. But a woman who fears Yah should be praised. Give her a share in what she produces. Let her works speak her praises at the city gates. Is Bernita here today? Reggie, make sure you get this on CD. Speak up for those who can't speak for themselves, for the rights of all who need an advocate. Speak up for those who can't speak for themselves. A lot of people don't have a problem speaking up. But what is the driving force behind your speaking up? Are you speaking up for those who can't speak for themselves? Or are you speaking up for your agenda? You see, saints, most of us realize everything we do and everything we refrain from doing is determined in our heart. What is your motive? What's the driving force behind what you're doing or what you're refraining from doing? Obviously, there's nothing wrong with speaking up for people who can't speak for themselves. But sometimes we speak up for people and they can do a whole lot of talking. So here they're not talking about speaking up for a group that's done a lot of talking and you've been voted the spokesperson. That's not the same thing. That's not the same thing. Be careful with people coming to you in fact, really, I mean, with what we've been through, all of us need to be careful. I mean, really. I'm not talking fear. I'm talking be cautious, be careful. We should be at a juncture where if you got something to say, you should be able to say it to whoever you need to say it to. But I want to throw this out. Is it possible that there's something about our character that would encourage us to get a go-between? This fellowship has been around for quite a while. I think, 82 or something? Something like that. And prior to that, but I don't count the Wellington Boone experiment. And I'm not throwing shade. Speak up for those who can't speak for themselves. If they can come and complain to you, they can speak. I stated to you all, and I'm not. You do what you will. I've stopped giving people the benefit of the doubt. I'm going the other way. There are a lot of proponents of Christianity that has us like sitting ducks. And we have a lot to lose, and we have lost a lot by giving people the benefit of the doubt. We were encouraged to do that. And what that did was it allowed some vile scum to settle in. Be careful, saints, about who you allow in your personal space. Be careful who comes to you with whatever, particularly if it's about another person. Please. Because what's going to happen, we're going to start having some moments of truth. I don't know if you remember, because you probably weren't paying attention. We've gotten up and we've had people get up and repent, and we've gone through a myriad of exercises concerning that. And I remember I said, you know, unless we have some uncomfortable conversations, trust is not going to be built. It'll stay right where it is. And if we're going to grow internally, and when I speak about growth, I'm not necessarily talking about numbers, but that may be a byproduct. I'm speaking about growth in not only in Torah, but in your quality of life. And when I say quality of life, I'm not talking about getting more trinkets. We can't eat but a couple of steaks and then we're full. You can't drive but one car at a time. You can't live in but one house at a time in one room. Let's let all of us start checking our motives behind what we do and say. Like I said before, the vein I'm in, I want boundaries reestablished. I'm after the Most High's order, not so much church stuff. I'll keep it clean. Check your motive before you open your mouth. Make sure you're coming from the right place in your heart. Be careful what you give your ears to. She speaks up for those who can't speak for themselves, for the rights of all who need an advocate. And here he says, speak up, judge righteously, defend the cause of the poor and the needy. Who can find a capable wife? Wonder why they wrote it that way. Who can find a capable wife? Who can find a capable wife? Now, I think, excluding the new modern family and the new modern woman, he's talking to men right there. Folks, he's talking to men right there. That question's for a man or a male. Who can find a capable wife? What do we have today going on? And no, this isn't Bash Ladies teaching. But it is rereading the scriptures. Rereading the scriptures with understanding. Accurately rereading the scriptures. Like I said earlier, only you can determine whether you're a Proverbs 31 lady. Because there's a difference between a woman and a lady. Just like there's a difference between a man and a gentleman. But here he asks, who can find a capable wife? Well, it's almost nowadays you don't have to try to find them. They're going to try to find you. But I'm not letting the fellas off the hook. If that happens to you, that tells you something's out of order. Because the question asked here was, who can find a capable wife? And I told you, in case you might get confused about that, that question was for men. Her value is far beyond that of pearls. And this one, her husband trusts her from his heart. Her husband trusts her from his heart. I don't know how many of you look at YouTube. I do. Because you can put in a subject matter and all kind of stuff can come up. I mean, good stuff, of course, some trash too, you know. But you got to know how to decipher. And I don't know, I got this kind of box, and you all know I'm not tech savvy. But a lot of these items have some kind of, I guess, a tracking chip. You know, if, like, because your computer's that way, like if you're looking for a red Mustang, and you go online and you put that information in, and you cut your computer off and you turn it back on, advertisements come up for the very thing you were looking for. Well, I was listening to some of the modern women, some of the stuff that they were teaching. And right now, you know, this country is, I am woman, hear me roar. You know, and I think we need to be careful. I really think we need to be careful. You know, make sure the Most High is behind that. You know, many of us were surprised when we did a little more digging, because when we first heard the phrase Black Lives Matter, of course, but upon further review, we begin to find out some things that maybe gave you cause to pause. You know, I have great respect for the ladies. I have great respect for women, believe it or not. But I would caution, be careful. Last night we were talking about some things, and we got on this subject about what is whole, W-H-O-L-E. What's whole? I'm here to tell you saints, men and women, ladies and gentlemen, whether you're married or not, you're whole. I know, and I'm not going to call no names, I know a lot of you have been to conferences and all of that stuff, and, you know, you were given some information, and you were made to feel like you're not even a whole person. God don't do nothing halfway. And of course, at the time, again, I'm not throwing shade, that stuff sold a lot of material. But what's really sad is the pressure that it put on the ladies. And I haven't forgotten about the little scenario that I was painting about the computer going to, about the red Mustang. I'm getting to that. I just kind of like to enjoy myself, because I'm not going to rush through this, because folks, we've been given a lot of misinformation, and I'm not going to say that it was some dastardly diabolical plan of the devil. Some of the people meant well with the material they were presenting. And some of them gave one another degrees and stuff because they wrote the same thing that they were pushing. I'm going to say it again. You are a whole person whether you have a spouse or not.
That's right.
And in light of the climate worldwide, I want to speak to the marrieds just for a second. And I'm going to curtail it only to here, because I'm concerned about here. How you conduct yourself somewhere else, have at it. If you will recall, I have been ding-donging on this, and I'm going to continue to ding-dong on it until the light bulb go off in somebody's head. When it comes to Emmanuel Worship Center, me and you can stay in the car until service is over and you get back in your car, and all's right in the world is me and you against the world. But when you come in here, it's us, it's we. See, me and you don't run the church. That's how we got in the situation we were in. Somebody thought, wouldn't it be lovely? And the idea came because of how my parents came into pastorship. And so some people thought, well, this is the way this thing needs to go. No, that was for that time. That's not the blueprint. Stay with me here. Don't be, I want to say something. I'll pick a safe word. Don't be a jerk just because you married. Because see, one day, unfortunately, one of y'all gonna go. And wouldn't that be a terrible time to find out nobody liked you because you were a jerk because of who you thought you was married to? Never thought about that, Barry. Well, start thinking about it. You come in here and, you know, if you're with your spouse, certain people you might not even speak to. What's up with that? That's immature. Or it's the other way around. If you're by yourself, you definitely ain't going to speak to nobody because you above them. They're not where you are. You're only a legend in your own mind. And then you got the flip. When they with their spouse, wonderful. We don't have time for that kind of stuff, folks. That's not helping us. You are an individual, even though you're married. I've said to you in times past, yes, the Most High, He loves when you as husband and wife get together and pray. But He also wants time with you individually also. Remember this. People love you for you, not who you're married to. Now, they may tolerate you because of who you're married to. But you, the individual, want to create an atmosphere where people love you. They love you for you. Please, please, please take that to heart. Please. Her husband trusts her from his heart, and she will prove a great asset to him. And she will prove a great asset to him. If she can be a great asset to her husband, she can be a great asset to a fellowship. She can be a great asset to the company she either runs or works at. See, the training is, yes, it's for her husband first, but it's also when she goes out as an individual, yes, a married individual, but an individual nonetheless. That's how you cultivate love for you. And she will prove a great asset to him. She works to bring him good, not harm. She works to bring him good, not harm. All the days of her life. You know, it is encouraging when you see married people and it's genuine what they're doing and displaying. Because some people are really good actors and actresses. I ain't throwing shade. I was messing with Terrell because I looked over and I saw his wife, and when I saw his wife, I thought of him immediately because he was down there fiddling with the drums. I thought he was going to start playing. I'm just messing with you, you know that. You know, the blessing is, married people, when you as two married individuals can bring a smile to someone else's face, that's a ministry. Because that gives those that haven't got hooked up yet, that's like, hey, you know, I would like that. I would like that. But when it's the other way around, and you're putting one another down or saying things that aren't so positive, people will hear that and they'll go, well yeah, well, you know, and you know what church folk, well, I'm going to pray for y'all. And then their idea of pray, girl. Oh, I ain't letting the guys out because, see, unfortunately with this modern women thing, a lot of men have become effeminate. And that's just as dangerous. I didn't say you were homosexual. I didn't say that. But a lot of stuff that come out of some of our mouths, we got a lot of brothers scratching their head. Wait a minute, what happened to this brother? Folks, we've got to get things back in proper order. Men should do men things, and women should do women things. There are some things in a pinch you might have to do. But that doesn't have to be your way of life all the time. You know, and I know a lot of people, well, you know, there are women all in the Bible. Yeah, they are. But if you continue to search the scriptures, if there was a man present and his heart was toward the Most High, that's who got the marching orders. Search the scriptures. Now, I know I might be making some people mad because, well, Barry, you don't know my life. No, I don't. You're absolutely right. I don't know your life. But I do know that many have had to do things because life didn't treat them right. I understand that. And I have nothing but the utmost respect for those that not only were able to take care of themselves, but were able to literally keep the home in such a shape they thought he was still around. And you did, with the help of family and friends, but you did it all by yourself. I salute you. But when you come in an environment where, again, there are capable, willing men that will look out for you, put your fist down. I don't want to fight you. Just like I said, there was some different kind of thinking, talking guys Some of you ladies are a little too masculine. And again, I'm just talking about in here. I got another talk for my friends that don't go here. And I still will have my teeth next week when I come in here. Dial it down a little bit. Now, I understand, you work on Wall Street or you in the boardroom. I got to, yeah, I understand. You trying to keep food on the table. I get that. But you don't have to be like that in here. See, when you carry yourself that way, it's kind of difficult to, people don't want to be around you. They'll, if you want real membership, not just duty membership. What do I mean by duty membership? Well, we go to the same church, we believe in the same God, and out of a sense of duty, if it'll get you out of my face, I'll help you. That's not right. We ought to have enough genuine love and concern for everybody that come here. Whether they live, in the outhouse or on Sugar Hill, like Pop used to say all the time. Everybody that comes here consistently ought to feel like somebody care about me. Really care. I ain't know all this was in Proverbs 31. Yeah, it is. And it's more to Proverbs 31 because see, again, at these seminars, they would use this, I'm going to show you how to get a husband. That's not what this was written for. Proverbs 31 is talking about building your character. Proverbs 31 is talking about you as an individual. Proverbs 31 is teaching you how to carry on in life, how to carry yourself until he finds you. Not until you get a group together and start your little manipulation. You done scoped out the situation. And you bring your raggedy muffin self up in here. She works to bring him good and not harm all the days of her life. She procures a supply of wool and flax and works willingly, works with willing hands. Servant leaders, with the emphasis on servant. That's what Pastor Green wanted. Anybody can hold a clipboard and look important. That's not helping us. No, I'm not mean. I'm just tired of the plastic. I'm just tired of the safe, surface conversations that we have. Now, we do pretty good when somebody got a financial need. Some of you got hearts as big as all outdoors. But I wonder, and I want you to wonder too with me for a second. I wonder how many real conversations some of us have had with one another. See, you'll only have those real kind of conversations when you trust people. But how many of us are still playing some kind of espionage game? I'll show them a little of this, but I ain't going to show them my whole self. Now, if you're rotten inside, I'd rather you not show us your whole self. Don't answer. Just think about this. What's your commitment level here? Are you committed here as long as you get to have your way? Are you committed here as long as what you think is important happens? I asked that question before, and I used to ask it all the time when Pop was here. I said, listen, if you didn't get to do what you do, would you still come here? Don't answer, just think about it. You know, in sports, to be successful, everybody got to play a position. Everyone has a role to play. And when you practice the position that the coach assigns. Not, you didn't practice all week. I'm going to pick football because whether you're a sports person, everybody knows something about football. Well, now, you done had practice all week. Donnie the quarterback. Greg the running back. Curry, wide receiver. I'm the center. Now, we don't practice all week. Every man has a role, a duty to do. Game time come. We fired up, ready to take the field. Coach give us our instructions. And he basically said, men, do your job. Do what you practice all week. Quarterback, get us in the huddle. He called the play. All of a sudden, I decide I want a quarterback. I'm the center. I've been practicing center all week. Now, because I see the people, I want to be quarterback. Because the quarterback get all the girls. It was like that in junior high and high school. I don't know what it's like now. Folks, that's what we have done in here. That's what we have done in here. And it needs to stop. It's going to stop if I'm the only one left here. Some serious days are coming. And for the 1 millionth time, please check over your personal situations. I know you all are concerned about the church. You should be. But none are more concerned than the people that are handling things. And they are handling things. And the Most High, when he gives the verdict, that's it. Win, lose, or draw. Now, real faith would have you try to originate a course of action based on the possible outcomes. And I'm not just talking about the court case. I'm talking about the thing that should be most prominent in your thinking. Each of your home situations. I don't care if you're buying. I don't care if you're renting. I don't care if you own. And I don't mean I don't care like the heck with it. I mean, it doesn't matter where you are in that spectrum. Pull your papers out. If you're retired, look over your retirement agreement. You get Social Security, call the people and ask some questions. See if you can get an increase. You lucky enough to still have a pension? Cash them checks when they get there. And I know some of you think, man, hey, I got it made. I've done this. I've got that. This and that. Listen, all of us in here, situation could flip negatively overnight. And that's including all the money you think you got stashed away. Everything's on trial, not just EWC. The dollar, everything. And people are concerned about other stuff. Because we think, well, he's going to handle everything. And I'm going to remind you again. What did he mean when he said, I've given you everything pertaining to life and godliness? So why do we keep, let's let him handle it. He's saying, hey, I've given you everything pertaining to life and godliness. That includes wisdom. That includes the ability to say, he kind of stepped on my toes about some things. Maybe I need to look into that. Well, I'll look into it. If he look into his, I'm looking into mine. So that's answered that question. He's just such a twit. I thought I'd say it for you. Folks, I would just like for us to be mature with each other. And let's stop all the little stupid games we playing. If you want to continue to be plastic, okay, I'll play with you. So when you and I are conversing, when I get some plastic, I'm going to give you some plastic back. Okay? So when you really want to be real, and I'm not just speaking for me, we got to be this way with each other. We got to stop playing all this church stuff. And look, church politics, that's worse than the stuff getting ready to come up. And I'm going to close on this because there's ain't but 3 minutes left. I'll tell you something about church politics. Be careful who you caucus with. Be careful who you caucus with, because in that group, somebody got a knife. Now, they're not going to cut your throat, because church folk don't do that. But it still hurt when they go in your back. I'm not saying, well, Barry, he don't want nobody talking to nobody. No, I just want the dumb chatter to stop. That's what I want. That's not helping one iota. And we should be more mature than that. Because Lord knows some of us think we are superstar non grata. And I'll be honest, I don't know why in the heck you think that. We'll continue the next time I have the privilege, if somebody don't flatten my tires, when I come again. But I think next week, Pastor Hodge will have a special message for us. We do have Proverbs 31, ladies. And no, I wasn't calling those things that be not as though they were. We do. We do. We do. But all of us can do better. All of us can do better. All of us can do better. I just pray you not only be inspired to do better, but that you'll actually put it into practice. God bless you.